to everybody about magic clubs or magic societies. You might be a member of a magic club, you might not be a member of the magic club, I don't know. For those of you that are maybe new to magic, a magic club or a magic society is where magicians go and hang out with other magicians and get to learn magic tricks. So that's the whole idea behind it. When I first got into magic a long time ago, there was no internet, there was no magic cafe, there were no Facebook groups. The only place you could really go to learn magic and become a better magician was by buying books, going to magic shops, or going to a magic society. And it was a really scary thing. I remember my local magic society, it took me like maybe a year of finding out that it actually existed to pluck up the courage to actually apply and then audition, because I was like, man, really? You know, oh God, this place, they're going to be amazing. There're going to be so many really good magicians. I'm not going to be able to hold a candle to them. So it was a big deal back in the day. Now, however, it's become less of a big deal. I've been quite fortunate to be able to lecture to magicians, and as part of lecturing to magicians over the last few years, what I've done is I've gone to a lot of different magic societies around the UK. I've gone to some big ones, I've gone to some small ones, I've gone as far as Aberdeen, I've gone as south as the South Coast. I've seen lots of different magic societies. Some of them are great. Most of them aren't, and that's my big issue, and that's what I wanted to kind of share to you today. I really do think that magic societies need to change in 2020 in order to attract the new blood in magic. Because I don't know if you've been to a magic society recently, but if you have, it's because it's like a graveyard. You know, there's generally 95-year-old blokes walking around sipping their bitter. And you don't see many young magicians. You don't see many young up-and-comers. You don't see many people that have got into magic and, you know, they've just started learning about magic and they join a magic society because they want to kind of network with other magicians. You don't see that these days. A lot of the time, if you get into magic these days, you find a Facebook group and you talk to people on a Facebook group. Maybe you start sharing videos on YouTube, or, you know, there's the Magic Cafe or places like that. But magic societies seem to be they're dying out, basically. And I don't see many young people coming into magic societies and joining, or at least staying. It does happen. I'm not saying it never happens, but it doesn't happen very often. And I think there's a few reasons for this. I think one of the reasons is magic societies are kind of really freaking dull a lot of the time. So here's what happens. If it's a lecture night, you turn up. And when you turn up, the lecturer's there, you know, setting up to lecture to you. And then what happens is you all sit down, you watch the lecture, you then go and get a drink, you then watch the second half, you buy what you want to buy, and then you leave. Because generally, most times these days, lectures aren't lectures, they're dealer-dems. But that's a discussion for another thing. And a lot of magic societies, they have when they have a lecturer come in, and then all the other stuff, you know, all the other things that they do, it's kind of, you know, you have your competitions. A lot of magic societies have competitions, but outside of the competitions and outside of that, there ain't that much magic that actually goes on. You know, and I think a lot of the time I've heard people say, well, that's because the only people that go to magic societies are amateurs. You never have a professional go to a magic society. And you know what? Maybe the professionals don't go to magic societies. But I think that's not because they don't want to go to the magic societies. A lot of the time, I think that's because, you know, they just can't be bothered, because there's, you know, put it this way, the professionals that I know, and I know a lot of professional magicians, they love magic. They're constantly going out for a drink down the pub and sessioning with each other and showing each other magic. But they don't join the magic societies because there's no sessioning that takes place. A lot of the time, outside of maybe one table where they're showing each other card tricks or something like that, generally as a rule, most magic societies, people are just sitting there talking about anything other than magic. I went to a magic society once, and it was a there was no lectures going on, there was no competitions going on, and so the whole thing was about, hey, getting to know your members, getting to know your other members, and everyone stood up and said a few seconds about themselves, but no one actually did a magic trick. Nobody actually did it. Surely you join a magic society because you love magic. I genuinely think in order for magic to flourish, and in order for the magic societies around not only the UK but the whole world, in order for them to not completely die out, I think that things need to change. I think it needs to be more about a sessioning environment. It needs to be more about a teaching environment. It needs to be more about a learning environment. Less about the lectures, less about the competitions, and more about, hey, right, okay, what are you working on? Oh, I'm working on this. Oh, okay, right, you're working on a coin trick. Well, this guy knows a lot about coin magic. Why don't you show it him? Hey, come over here, show us your trick. Let's have a look at your trick. And then they get honest feedback, which is a topic for another video, because generally as a rule in magic, no one actually tells the truth about what they see. They'll see a magician who does an awful routine and they'll say, yeah, that was really good, but that's a topic for another vlog or another video at another time, and it will be coming. This is all about magic societies and genuine. And you know what, you go to Blackpool Magic Convention, and when you go to Blackpool Magic Convention, there's thousands of people there, and look at the Ruskin. People are showing each other magic tricks and they're sessioning until 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So those people are out there. That is an environment where magic flourishes. Let me show you this latest thing. Tell me what you think of it. Can you give me some advice? What can we work on? Blah, 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 blah. That's what a magic society should be about. It should be an exciting moment of the week. Oh, I'm really excited. Why? I'm getting to go to Magic Club. I'm getting to go to Magic, I'm getting to go to my local Magic Club. I've been working on this thing. I want to show them. But that's not what it's about. You turn up. It's very cliquey a lot of the time. So you turn up and you don't speak to half of the people there because they've got their people that they talk to, and that's it. So it's very, very cliquey, and then you kind of turn up and you sit in silence with your beer and you watch your lecture or you watch your competition, and then you leave, and you can probably go through an entire freaking magic society week without actually performing any magic once. And that's not what it should be about. Which is why a lot of people that get into magic don't remember when you first got into magic, how excited you were when you perform. And when you're an amateur, when you first got into magic, who do you get to perform for? My son doesn't get to perform for that many people. So he takes every opportunity to perform. He'll perform to his sister, his mom, he'll perform to me, he'll perform to family members, he'll perform to his friends at school. But, think about when you first got into magic, you want to show magic to everybody. So you turn up to a magic society thinking that's what's going to happen, and that's not what happens. You end up sitting there bored senseless a lot of the time. No magic's taking place, so people don't come back. And honestly, I've seen big societies go from like a really flourishing society with 20, 30, 40 members to like 10 old blokes sitting in a pub, 12 old blokes sitting in a pub. Right, let's talk about the annual general meeting now, shall we? Let's talk about the minutes. Right, here's what we do. Who do you think? Can we have the minutes for the last? Fuck off. That's not what magic should be about. This isn't It's not important. All of that shit isn't important. Right, before we start the meeting, let's have a discussion about what happened last week, shall we? Let's talk about what happened last week. Do we have any order of business? Any order of business? Right, we've got this coming up in about 3 weeks. We'd like to go. Fuck off. Magic societies should be about a really exciting time of the week that you build up to all week. You're working on a routine. You go there, you practice it, you're showing everybody, you get feedback, and then you go away and you make it better for next week. As opposed to what it is, which is you pay a whole bunch of money to turn up week in, week out, never perform, watch lectures where you spending money on shit that you don't need, or watching competitions that you don't feel confident enough to go and enter because you never get a chance to do magic at Magic Club. Now, I'm not saying this is every magic club around the UK. I'm not. I've been to some amazing magic clubs. But if you've been in your magic club for a few years and you look around today and you see that there's like 10 or 15 people there, where a few years ago there were 30 or 40 people, Whose fault is that? That's the society's fault. And what I'm saying is, if you want magic clubs to continue over the next 5 or 10 years, they have to change. The environment has to change, because new people that are getting into magic, that go into that environment, into that cliquey environment, they're never going to survive. They're just going to go somewhere else, and they'll probably end up on a Facebook forum, and they'll get really good, or they'll leave magic. And then they'll talk about, oh, I used to go to a magic club and I hated it. So if you're in a magic club, if you're a president or a director or a chairman or whatever the hell they are of a magic club, and you want your magic club to flourish, maybe think you need to instigate the change and say, look, enough is enough. Let's not do this stupid idea this week. Let's do something else. Let's bring it back to basics. And let's just show magic to each other and see if we can help each other perform, and see if we can help each other improve, and see if we can help each other get better at this art form. So this video this week is all about why I think that magic clubs are on the brink of extinction, and what we can do about it in order to try and rejuvenate the magic clubs around the UK. I'd love to know your thoughts, so please let me know in the comments what you think about this. I'm quite passionate about it, because I'd love to see more magic clubs not just surviving but thriving, with younger blood and younger members, and have it be a place that everybody's excited to go to every week, as opposed to, oh, I've got magic club tonight, I suppose I better go, I've paid my subs this year, I don't want to miss it really. That's not what it's all about. Let me know in the comments what you think. And don't forget, Wednesday, 5 o'clock, the review show is coming out with me and Roland. I'll see you again. My name's Craig from Slightly Unusual.